Hello, Robert. Hello, Sergio. Welcome back, Sergio. Okay. Okay, let's see who we have here. Seth. Hey, that happens, Seth. Some people come on before I even start the lesson, and when I start the lesson, it's not going to allow them in. All right. Today, I want to deal with the eighth note triplet and some maneuvers around the drum set. Plus, how the eighth note triplet is associated to the jazz pattern. Now, when I teach, I break everything down to its lowest denominator. Tell you what's occurring with the right hand, with the left hand, left foot, and the right foot. So we're going to deal with those three elements right now: the ride cymbal, the bass drum, and the hi-hat. What's the relationship between those three voices with this? Now, when I'm playing that jazz pattern right now, I'm not thinking of any tune in particular. What I'm thinking about is the relationship of the triplet to everything. And I'm counting, I'm not humming. When I play, if I'm playing a jazz tune, I'll hum the tune and just improvise off that ride cymbal and snare and bass and hi-hat. But for this lesson, what we're going to do, okay, is just see the relationship. Now look at my right hand. Now, for those who are not familiar with the level system, the levels are here as well with the right hand. I'm trying to obtain a pulsation, an equalized sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing it light. Notice my right stick is just coming down and back to the same point. 1, it came back. 2, it came back. 3, come back. 4, come back. So that gives me the quarter note feel, this constant sound of the quarter note of the voice. Now, when I play the jazz pattern, there's a movement that I teach, but from now it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. Hey, Robert, Sergio, you guys there? Say something. Hello. All right, so now, that's the jazz pattern. It's constant in sound. One straight ahead. Now I'm going to put my left foot on the counts of 2 and 4. That's a heel and thumb. Heel, thumb. Get that shift down. Nice and tight. Now I'm going to feather in the bass drum. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3/4 of the lesson. Okay? So, what I have now, what is the relationship of the eighth note triplet? So I count that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I'm going to put all the elements together. I'm going to put the ride cymbal, the bass drum, and the hi-hat and snare. So let's just start first with the ride cymbal and the snare drum. A little faster. Notice the motion with that right hand didn't change. It remained a free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. Now I play faster tempos. I play it mixed up because I'm playing to the melodic structure of the tune that I'm playing. And I'm having a conversation with the other musicians, and I'm having a conversation with the head of the tune. When you begin a tune like a jazz tune, you kind of be simplified for the first A, and then A, B, A, B, A. Then it repeats itself again, then the improv starts. When the improv starts, you can free this up. Okay, like ding, ding, ding. All right, so this is just showing you the relationship of the jazz pattern straight ahead to the eighth note triplet. Bass drum, I'm feathering the bass drum in on 1, 2, 3, 4. I add 2 and 4. I keep a nice musical sound. Right? Feather, like a feather hits the surface. That's what you're doing with the bass drum pattern. I'm not accenting anything. I'm just laying the jazz pattern, the bass drum, and the hi-hat as one note, sounding one note. 1. Now add the eighth note triplet. It's very basic, very simple. So next, what I want to do, hold on, let me see something. I'm going to take an exercise. Why doesn't that work? Oh, you wonder. Hold on. Yeah. I'm going to take an exercise from the stick control book, a one surface exercise, and we're going to reference off the stick control book. And we look at the first line, and you see the first line as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you do it again, that completes the line, you repeat it as a 4-measure increment. So I'm going to come up with a formula, which is in my stick control formula book. By the way, it's not available no more on hardcover, only the ebook. All right, you'll get 45 different formulas in your email, and you can print them out. It's 188 pages. So now I'm going to take that one surface, right, left, right, left, and I'll say, okay, right. Instead of playing it, you're referencing off of it, and you're going to play the right as 3 rights. The left as 3 lefts. So if I took the first part of line 1, right, left, and use the formula as 1, 2, 3, 4. What I just did was I referenced only half of the measure number 1. If I do the complete measure, Nice and relaxed. So I just did the first measure. So, and you continue down the whole page. It's one surface exercise is great for the hands. Now, for those who don't know the level system, like the full stroke or the control strokes, full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes, you want to be able to play these in all those positions. Example, the full stroke. Half strokes, you get a little faster because the distance of your drumstick to the drum is less. But notice the sticks. They don't go above that height. They stay in that. Then I'll go to the quarter stroke position. So I work on them one surface in a variety of tempos in those three stroking positions, the full stroke, the half stroke, and the quarter stroke. Now, once you get that going on, you work on it. It'll take you a while to really understand, and you'll see a development happening with your hands. But now, in the beginning of the lesson, I worked with the jazz pattern, the relationship of the eighth note triplet, which I just played. I played 1 and 2. Now, how was that in relationship to the jazz pattern? Well, the next thing I do is a substitution. If I did the first right, left sequence on one surface, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to use a substitution. Instead of using my right hand, I'm going to use my bass drum in its place, nice and slow. Or if I did line 3, which is right, left, using that substitution, R equals the bass drum, triplet, and L equals the snare drum. So if I did line 3, it would be nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you want to do now, once you get that going on, do the whole page like that. It helps. And as you feel good with it, add the left foot on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, your left foot. And once you establish that, this is where you're going. Now you're going to play all the rights on the bass drum, all the lefts on the snare drum. Okay. We understand that, okay? So now we got the first line. Line 3, 2 rights, 2 lefts. Now, at this point, it's all mathematical, the division. And no matter what time signature you play in, you're all related. 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, so on and so forth. Even 3, 8, 6, 8, 9, 8. It's all related. Okay, so, and that gets into metric modulation, which I'm going to be doing a lesson of it on that maybe tonight on my site. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. But that's the exercise in a nutshell. Okay, you have 1, 2. It's a good exercise. Now, as a warm up for that exercise, what I like to do is just play one measure with the foot, one measure with the left hand, like this. 1, 2. Good warm up. just play the bass drum for 3 minutes against the jazz pattern. Guys, any questions to it about this at this from this point? Any questions? Now, this is one of many, many different variations or interpretations I have from the stick control book. It's helpful. Now, I don't get into a melodic line unless I do a prerequisite and say, okay, 3 weeks on Tuesday we're going to work on all blues or something by Miles Davis, all blues or milestones or Freddie the Freeloader or Solar. There were a variety of different tempos. Some are 12-bar blues, some are 32-bar phrases, A, B, A. And when I play that, like I said in the beginning, I'm doing this mathematically right now to show you the relationship of the ride cymbal, the left hand, the bass drum, and the snare, hi-hat rather. We understand this. We all understand it. Good, Seth. Good. Seth, say hello to Robert. Robert's coming to the camp. That's the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay, we understand that. All right, now I want to do another one surface exercise and take it to the jazz pattern, the eighth note triplet. So this is a matter of interpretation. If I look at the first line, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I say I'm not going to interpret that line straight up and down, because that's what 1 and 3 and 4 is. That's straight up and down. I'm going to interpret the line swung, which means immediately I go to a triplet mode. And when I swing a line like 1 and, the downbeat remains the same on the 1. Okay? And the and becomes the dub, the triplet. So if I play 1 and 2, and I'd have 1 and 2 and. We understand that? Line 3. That's going to be my interpretation. However, there's one more process, or a couple more. I'm going to eliminate the lefts. And I'm going to think of the line like that, but I'm going to eliminate the lefts. So if I do that on line 1, instead of having 1, because I'm going to eliminate the left, I'm going to have 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. If I go to line 2 now, the right falls to the da of the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I look at line 3. I have 2 rights on 1 and 2 rights on 3 and. I am not playing 2 and 4 and. I'm just interpreting the 1 and 3 and. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's the interpretation we're going to use. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, and we got a couple more coming. I forgot who they were. So there might be 3 or 4 people inside of the class. A master class, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, now, with that being said, I'm eliminating the lefts and I'm just interpreting the rights. I'm going to play the rights now as all full strokes. I look at line 1, I'm going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm going to get a louder sound. I go to line 2, the right shifts over to the da. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I go to line 3, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and line 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that's one interpretation and one elimination. And here comes the exercise. You can refer to this either as a linear concept, because I'm only going to play one voice, or maybe two voices, but no two voices at one time. So if I look at line 1, just play the rights. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in the blank, the and the of the triplet. So if I did the first one, 1 and now 2. Marvelous, brilliant book by George Longstone. I go to line 2 now, and now the right hand is going to fall on the dub, the triplet. So and I'm going to fill in the blank, the balance of the triplet. So I go to line 2. I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, I'm just playing one note at a time, so that would be considered linear. But what I like to do now is put the bass drum in on 1, 2, 3, 4, and the hi-hat on 2 and 4. So therefore now it does not become, it changes from linear to occasional harmonic or layered or whatever. So I'm going to establish 1 and 3. I'm staying on the snare. 1, Got it, guys? Any questions on that so far? You have a lot of fun doing that. So I'm restricting it only to two voices, or 3 voices based on hi-hat. So on and so forth. Line 5 is nice. Does everybody here know when I'm hitting my right hand? Where I'm referencing from that? Right now, I'm just restricting the hands on the snare drum. But man, eventually you can evolve into having a great time. Putting all your rights on the floor tom or between the toms, line 1. I'm going to move my right to the toms. Line 5. Do we all understand that? Come on, guys, give me some interaction here in the chat so I understand what we're doing. Because I want to take it to one more level, then I'm going to close it up. Hello? Yes, no, perhaps, maybe, by chance. Hold on. We'll leave it that way. Okay, we all understand that. Everybody understands that. I want to take it to another point. Okay, Seth. All right, now, what we did, if you remember, with the triplet in the beginning, one, we did the substitution, the bass drum and the snare drum. So this time we're going to do the same thing, a substitution. Instead of playing the first line, we're going to take the right hand and make it the bass drum. And then we add the left foot on 2 and 4, heel and thumb. Line 3. Line 4. And the next move, good, Robert. The next move will be playing the jazz line. I had 2 and 4, right in going 3-stroke down, 3-stroke down, a 3-stroke down. I'm going to take line 1 and play with that interpretation. Well, R is equal to bass drum. Line 2. Line 3. Hold on. I can't hear nothing with these headphones on. We all understand that, guys. Good, Robert. Sergio, any questions? Anybody else who is viewing this and is not in the chat, enter the chat, say hello. If there's any questions, I'll try to help out. Now, tonight, my lesson's going to be on YouTube, on my site, MattPatellaLiveLessons.com. You go to the site, as you come to the home page, there's a box up there that says live lessons. Hit that, and I'll be there at 7 p.m. Everybody's welcome. Now, if anybody, I'm not going to give these PDFs away because they're inside the stick control book formulas. You want to buy the PDF separately, not a problem. If you want to buy all 45 formulas, not a problem either. Okay? Now, if you want to get on my mailing list, who's this? Oh, I can't see. Well, my primary source for teaching, Steve, is the stick control book. The stick control book, you know, surfacely the way it's to be played was originally to develop your hands, whatever hand you start with, or multiple rights, multiple lefts, so on and so forth. So I expanded on it, and I wrote down some exercises, maybe about 3,000 of them from the stick control book. And the last 2 that I just did, right, was from the stick control book, my interpretation. Now, if you were not listening before, I can't help that. Yeah, it's in the stick control book form, but I want to explain, Robert, where it came from. You know, it gets a little not boring, but it's there's a purpose for the stick control book. There's a beauty of that. You know, you're starting with the right. And and you're getting the same sound on the right hand and the left hand. You start with the left, the same thing happens. Equal sound. Line 3, right, left. They sound the same. Now, what I do, I'm not going to tonight. I'll do this. I'll explain the way I work with the stick control book surface lift, or the way George Lawrence Stone intended it to be played. Now, the way I know, I never studied with George Lawrence Stone, but the way I know how George Lawrence Stone wanted it was because of Joe Morello. Joe Morello was a student of George Lawrence Stone. And I studied with Joe for quite some time, and we would work on it the way George Lawrence Stone wanted it. If I did line 1, for example, the way some people just do it, they go, all that extra motion, all that disruption of sound does you no good. Let me just go demonstrate where I'm going with this for tonight. 2, 3, 4. Right hand and the left hand sound the same. That's the beauty of the stick control book. And literally, this is no exaggeration. I have about 5,000 different ways to do the book. I'm working on one right now, stick control and linear concepts. You know, formulating the stick control as, for example, R would equal 1E and L would equal 2E and So if I did that with the first line, you'll get it. I'm going to go over that tonight. Anyway, I need to go. Thank you for the new guys. If you guys wanted to add it to my mailing list, please email me. Seth or Robert, can you please put my email in there? It's Matt Patella 1001 at gmail.com. I stream 8 times a week. Okay? And you're all invited to come to as many as you would like. Yeah, it's different there, Steve. It's creative. And that's one of the elements that I really, really, really loved about John Morello. He stimulated your ability to be creative. But anyway, I mean, I can't in a half hour, 45 minutes demonstrate all 5,000 some ways of doing it. But I do also Zoom lessons one-on-one. If anybody is interested in taking a Zoom lesson with me, just email me. We'll set up a time that we can talk, see what you want. Thank you, Robert. And we'll see if I can help you out. So just email me. Either way, email me. I'll put you on my mailing list. Occasionally, I'll send out PDFs. And as of April the 1st, my site will be a paid-for site. All the other sites, like Zoom, Group Class, or this one, YouTube, and I also do one on Facebook. Okay? That's okay, Robert. No problem. Okay, so I do Facebook at 7 o'clock on Friday. Tonight I'm on my site. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. on this site, 7 p.m. on my site. And Thursday, YouTube again, and 7 o'clock, Facebook. So you're all welcome. Thank you, Robert. Okay, guys, if there's no questions, I'm going to leave. You guys have a good day.